Welcome. My name is Adam. This is View from the Bottom. And here is my co-host, Josie.
He got it right, guys. He got it right. I am shocked right now.
What I won't get right is what are we even talking about today?
You're the podcast
This
host?
I hear you, but man, what an interesting dynamic. I'm not gonna say anything. I guess where my mind went, and I prayed on it a little bit, not enough. But it was kind of like I've noticed some of these people, or some of the people around me, including my own past and probably present, going with these barriers that we tend to line up in front of us that block us from progressing. And I think so. I was really diving into it as far as like what is it all the time, and I think it's different, but where my mind goes for me personally, and I think a lot of people that are involved in rock bottom hope or have gone to a rock bottom hope is shame. Shame is a big one, and I guess while I was driving here, I was like, if we personally asked ourselves, took some quiet time and said like, what am I ashamed of? um would we You should get an answer. I think everybody deals with shame on some kind of level. um but it's how far are we willing to go down that rabbit hole to address what the shame does to us, or what is causing the shame, or anything like that. And that's kind of where my mind was on the topic today.
Yeah. I know when you messaged me about wanting to kind of talk about like the walls and the barriers, the word that came to mind was self-sabotage. When we think about, when the good things are happening and you're not used to good things happening to you. And so you self-sabotage and you're like, this doesn't feel right. We have to do something to stop that from happening because something's going to go wrong and I might as well control the bad that's going to happen from it, right? So that's the first thing I thought about. But when I think about shame, man, I mean, still, you're right. Like, still to this day, there's just so many different things that come up from your past that unfortunately we're human. And so when it comes up, you get riddled with this, like, I call it like an icky feeling of the stuff that I've done in the past that when I see other people doing it, I just can't help but like start comparing again and like just being so guilt ridden because of the things that I've done. So I'm excited and kind of curious to see where this is going to go today.
Yeah, who knows? It could have gone a couple of ways with well, anyways. I thought you were in a bad mood. I'm just gonna be frank with everybody. I thought you were in a bad mood, and maybe I shouldn't even
No.
address this. We'll edit this out. Edit this out.
No,
If this
don't
is
edit this
appropriate.
out. This is raw and real, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, you seem like you were in a funk, and I know what I had planned was to talk about shame and all that, but sometimes you just go with the conversation and what's more important. And I think, is this podcast more important than who you are to me? Like, no, not at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's only because we have like 2 subscribers. But once we get more, I'll change that. It'll flip flop. But no, like when you see a brother or sister that you feel like are off, right? And I think when you're comfortable with somebody and you really know their normal, routines or habits or positions, you're going to be able to identify it. Now they might not answer to it, they might not admit it, but something's off, right?
Yeah.
And this is way off the topic of shame, but like to me, I think this is something that I'm working on. Like
Yeah.
I instantly go, what did I do wrong? Like
Right.
that is my fallback plan, and it's like. And more often, and that might be a pride thing. Maybe that's an ego thing. I'm not sure. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's a people pleasing thing. Who knows? But I think a lot of people do that, where they're like, something's wrong. I got to just make sure that I'm not to blame. You know what I mean? And it's like, who knows what it is?
Yeah. No, so it's funny because this is gonna go right back to shame, actually.
Good.
So no, nothing's wrong. I'm actually fine, but I did get
Look
the
into the
offer
camera and say
letter.
that.
No, nothing's wrong.
She's lying.
Nothing's wrong. Nothing personally. No, but so I got the offer letter from the job, right? And it's a little bit lower than originally anticipated. And so I'm just processing all of it and feeling a little bit ashamed of myself because I was like, ooh, I'm not used to that number. I'm used to higher, right? And I'm like, I know undoubtedly that this is a gift. Like God has been preparing me for this job, you know? and I've been knowing for a while now that when I step into the next career, God has been humbling me to be comfortable enough with the number that comes my way. And I'm just kind of like a little bit ashamed of myself for looking at that number and wanting to be like, nope, you know? And so I'm just kind of like processing all of it. Like when I was looking at my phone, I keep rereading it. I'm like, because every part of me, like the worldly part of me that's got so used to for the longest time chasing after money and wanting to continue to excel financially is like once again being humbled. And I'm like, ugh, this is tough because like I know that the answer is yes, but like everything in me is like hesitating and struggling to even sign the paper and send it back and say yes, thank you, you know, kind of thing. And so that's where my mind was at when I walked in here. It's just good, kind of riddled with that like ungrateful kind of child of God right now where I like feel like God is probably, I mean, and I know he's not. I know he knows my heart and I know that he knows my intentions, right? But it's just like that slap in the face reminder of like, yeah, you know, you're not perfect and
You got work to do.
you've still got work to do. And so that's kind of where my mind is at right now. Is just like I feel a little bit guilty and a little bit ashamed of myself for looking at that number and not instantly being grateful for saying, you know what? I remember back in the day when I could have only wished and hoped that I could be making that number. You know, I'm like, wow. So that's kind of where all of that came from, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, that's interesting. No, it is because like what, anyways, my shame comes from a very different place,
Yeah.
but it's no different. Like what shame does to us, and how we interact with people or how we interact with, you know, how we handle the shame is a big deal. And that's where my mind was when I was originally thinking of this topic. I wasn't thinking about your finances, but it had to do with like, I watched myself. I just I had a stopping point in my life. Like I could not move forward. And to me now looking back on it in hindsight, like it was the Lord saying like, you're not going to move forward. You're going to stay right here until you finally like deal with it. And like, cause that we live in a culture now where it's like, you don't have to deal with your problems. If something's bothering you, get on your iPad, you know, and just start swiping. Right. And then you won't even think about it. You're like, that was a funny dog video I just saw. And then if you do think about it, just keep swiping faster until you find something to distract
yourself.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Facebook or whatever. I don't know. We don't have any of the young people in the crowd anymore, so I don't know what's cool. But anyways,
TikTok. It's all TikTok.
TikTok
And Instagrams is still in, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if there's any other app out there, but I know those are the two that I see my girl
I did
on
see a
all the
great
time.
dance video the other day. I can't wait to try it.
I'd
but
be
it won't
lying
on
if
film.
I said that I wouldn't be a little excited to do a dance video just for the fun of it.
It will be so good. Everything in moderation, right? Well, not everything, not drugs. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Yeah, that's bad.
You're really like, did you just? Anyways, so back to shame. No, it's. And I felt like that blockade, and once I finally like addressed how far I had gone, right? And a lot of it was I didn't want to share with my family or anybody that knew me. I felt like, you know, they're just gonna outcast me or you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, and maybe sometimes that happens, and maybe that has happened in people's lives, so they're hesitant of doing that. But it's like, hey, you got to get over that. Really, what it is like, you got to give it to the Lord and like, God, I can't function with this in my life anymore. Like, how do I move from here forward? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also, you know, and it's something that you learn as you start, you know, doing your walk with the Lord. But guilt and shame is not from God, you know? And so where you're feeling, well, I read something actually earlier today, actually, and it said like something about like the enemy knows the truth and that's how he uses it to lie. And it said something like and I'm terrible at like this, but I think it was something along the lines of like, so you need to learn the truth so you can discern the lies. You know what I mean? And guilt and shame are some of the biggest lies that the enemy uses against you to stop you, to make that roadblock, to self-sabotage from you being able to receive the gifts and the blessing that the Lord has for you. And a lot of that it will pull it from your past, the drug addictions, or maybe you were somebody who cheated on your husband, or, were the opposite side and you were with somebody else's husband, or just whatever that looks like, right? Like, you're human. Mistakes happen. Like, you're not perfect, but if you learn from them and you grow from them, then the enemy has no power over you if you can learn to detach that from yourself and remind yourself, like, this is God's plan. Like, I'm a child of God, and all of those lies are not who I am. They're just a mistake that I made,
Yeah. I think once you start addressing the shame or where it's coming from, no matter what the scenario is, I think the hard part is like really facing the, like, are you ready to move forward? And what does that take? I know from a Christian point of view, not everybody that watches this is a Christian, but from a Christian point of view, it's like there is repentance. And I think a lot of people shy away from that. Like, yeah, I can get over that. Thank you for the forgiveness, but I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, but then you're just going to keep falling back in that path. And I think that's where I'm talking about, like, to get out of that block, that cycle. For me, it was a cycle. I had a horrible routine. And a lot of it developed in saying, like, okay, tomorrow, I'm gonna go look for a job tomorrow. And then I would wake up, and I would smoke, and then I'd be like, but tomorrow, and then, like, that was a routine. And so I had to break that routine. And then once I broke it, it was kind of like, well, what now?
Right.
Like, and that was awful. I was terrified of a life without that, because I didn't know what it would look like. Because I had found so much joy, even though it was false joy, it was unfulfilling joy. I didn't know what life without it would look like. And even that, I didn't get rid of. That's why I bring up shame, is because after I had broken that cycle, anybody from the outside looking in, they're like, you're doing great. And it's like, yeah, but I was still carrying. I was still carrying a lot of baggage. I was carrying a lot of shame. I was carrying guilt, what did I make my family look like? What did I look like? I held myself at such a high esteem. And now it's like, I got to be honest and lower myself. Like, what are all these people going to look at me now? And like, the truth was, nobody cared. Like, I mean, they care in the sense that they love you, but like, it's like they would rather you just swallow your pride and come back to reality than to just continue wallowing in your own filth.
Well, I mean,
Hopefully.
God didn't promise us easy, that's for sure. I mean, when you make mistakes, when the comeback part, I mean, one way or another, whether you choose to continue on that path and keep, like, getting closer and closer to a rock bottom, or you choose to pull yourself out of that rock bottom, both are hard. Both are hard, because the closer you get to rock bottom, life just continues to get harder and darker. And when you're pulling yourself out, then you have to, like, snap back to reality and start facing all of the consequences of the actions that you took. And that's a tough thing, man. That's not easy. It sucks. It really sucks. But then that's like a temporary thing, and you get through it and you move on from it. And I mean, life has gotten a lot better. It's not easier, but it's definitely gotten a lot better for me since I decided to swallow, what is that? Embrace the suck and just continue to move on from it. Oh, embracing the suck really sucks. I'll say that, though. I don't like it. Nope, don't want any part of that. Yeah. But I mean, thank you for, acknowledging. I hate that when you see something's wrong with me, you try to instantly go to a different direction, but I mean.
Well, I didn't want to put it out there.
Yeah, no.
There's a difference between, like, behind, the scenes, like, calling you out on it, and then, like, hey,
Well,
now that we're live.
But you kind of did. You
did do
totally
that.
just did that right
I
now.
did.
No, but I
We
mean,
could have stopped and edited that small portion.
nah, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And, God willed this way because there's somebody out there that's going to watch this and they're going to be able to take something from it too.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
if you're afraid of conflict, I gave a good example of what not to do. Don't do it in front of everybody and on the internet. Don't do that. I'm telling you, that's not a good idea.
That's probably not a great idea.
Like, don't wait till like everybody in your family or friends is around. Like, now I'm gonna confront them on that. Like, that's not biblical. Just so you know.
It's not biblical, and it's awkward. That's
Yeah.
a really awkward
I think
position.
the
to
biblical
put
answer
people
is to pull them aside and talk with them, right? And if they're not if the person that you offended or offended you doesn't want to hear it, then you bring another member alongside, and then if they don't want to listen to that,
take
again,
it to the elders.
take it to the elders.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah.
never done. Have you ever done that? How much time do we have? Have you
Taking
ever,
it to the elders.
yeah, taking a problem with people to the elders.
Not intentionally. You got to remember, I'm friends with quite a few of the elders in our church. And so I naturally just go to them for biblical counsel, anyways. So it's never been like, oh, I have this issue. We need to take it to the elders.
Yeah.
It's just more like naturally, because they already are my friends and I trust them. I take it to them because I want not just like a biblical perspective, but I want friends and wise people, wise counsel in some of the decisions that I make. But it's never been like, oh, the Bible says so I'm gonna do that. It was just kind of more like
I'm just wondering how common it is to like, hey, you and I have an issue, like we're not gonna resolve it, so let's take it to the elders. Like, I wonder if that, I mean, because obviously they're not gonna talk about it, or anything like that.
I know somebody who is like that
Go
though.
ahead, put a survey out on that one. I'll put that up on the screen.
I'll create a survey. I'll
like
create
to
a
see
poll for
that. Have you ever taken issues to elders?
Been like, I've already tried talking to them on my own and didn't work out. So I brought someone else in and that didn't work either. So here we are. Help. Send help.
I don't think I've ever been faced with a situation. Sorry. I don't think I've ever been faced with a situation where I needed to go to that level, you know. Knock on wood. I hope I don't.
I don't think I have either as a Christian. I think like before I really knew the Lord and had like a relationship with the Lord, there probably were plenty of times.
Yeah.
But since then, I don't know. I can't think of one, to be honest with you. But I also, changed my playground and my playmates, you know? Like I don't hang out with the kind of people anymore that could probably cause me to want to have to take something to the elders, you know? I feel like the people that, even you, that we all hang out with now, we all have a good biblical foundation and a healthy way of getting through conflict or disagreements, things like that. So, I can't
Yeah, I
recall
think
anything.
for us, some of the people we know, like if it gets to a level where we're personally bothered by something, usually that person just takes their own issue to the elder and then kind of talks about. I mean, that's what I've done.
No,
right?
yeah.
Like if I've heard something in a sermon that maybe I didn't like, or wanted more clarification, like that's when I would go to, an elder and talk to them. But like I just can't. Because we've had so not me and you, but like we've been addressed with some major issues from people in the past, and it just kind of gets solved with us, right? With that small group. It's never had to go further.
Yeah. Thankfully.
Thankfully, yeah.
Yeah, prayerfully, all the things, all those pretty words for that. Like, yeah, I'm really, really grateful that we have been blessed with a group like ours, to be completely honest with you.
And Rock Bottom Hope.
Rock Bottom Hope, are you kidding me? It's amazing. I just, honestly, like so I had
God turned back.
Yeah.
Like, where are we going with this? Just get it back to Rock Bottom Hope and we'll be okay. It's going to be my foundation.
That's it. I can't. I just snorted too. Yeah, guys, I snort sometimes when I laugh. My bad. No, actually, so Rock Bottom Hope, I had a meeting with Danny, and exciting things are actually happening right now. I'm really, really looking forward to all the changes that are coming our way here in Houston, and just the new material that's going to be coming out for marketing. We got the NCOPE stuff coming up too that we're going to be doing. And I'm really, I don't know, I feel like God is like starting to really move in the direction that we're going. And I'm watching you kind of really start to finally take the reins on the podcast. Like, you did pretty good today.
I had no, listen. He attests. You looked angry. I was like, dude, she's gonna blow on me on this camera. It's gonna be so. I mean, everybody else will love to watch it because who doesn't want to watch a train wreck? But I was sitting there like, oh,
Are
please,
you calling
Jesus.
me a train wreck?
No, but if you start yelling at me, yeah, it would be like that whole thing.
No.
And we would post it too because it would just be so fun.
Well, you do. Oh, well, no.
And then
I
we'd
guess
have
not
to post like
completely.
the next one would be like an apology video. And be like, listen,
Coming from you or me?
no,
No.
I'll carry that shame. No, but I'm
I'm
excited
done.
for the teasers that you threw out there for Rock Bottom Hope.
Yeah.
You know, left a lot of people like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
It'll be some cool stuff.
Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Keep watching. You'll find out. Maybe, possibly. I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. Yeah, today has just been kind of one of those days where I've been processing a lot and like I don't know, my mind is just all over the place, to be completely honest with you. Like things are starting to pick up and like they're moving quickly and they're ramping up and I'm just in a complete like shock mode right now. I don't even know if it's a shock or just like a neutral like I don't even know. I'm processing. We'll just call it
Is
that.
it stress?
I am stressed. I am starting to feel the stress of everything. Like, you know, I've been laid off since April 29th. You know, and so getting ready to go back into working, having a daughter all of a sudden, like she's about to start school, like just a bunch of new things happening right now. I'm just like, I'm rattled. But you know, I trust God, man. Everything
Yeah.
in this has been a God moment. It's been God's hands just really moving in this. And, you know, his timing is perfect. And so even though I'm overwhelmed and I feel like it's just chaotic, like, I just know that he's going to, like, give me that peace and that rest and stuff that I need to get ready to start into this next chapter of my life. And yeah, so.
Yeah, I'll say you're hitting it right on the head. But like when I went into my job, right, I was sitting there going like, all right, let's account for all these things that I know in my past. You know what happens, and one is like anxiety, as far as, and I hate that word, as I feel like it's overused. But anyways, I know I tend to get anxious, and I know I tend to like start to like really battle my own personal thoughts and this, that, and the other. And I was like, God, could you just come in to my
Yeah.
whole experience? And my first day was so smooth, and I gotta, you know, I don't think my boss even knows I do this, but anyways, I gotta give my boss credit. Like he specifically didn't throw everything at me, because I think they do that in a lot of companies. They're like, watch this video, watch this video, watch this video, do this training, do this training, do this training, and now figure it out. Like, but my boss like slowly, you know, gathered, like started what is it? What am I looking for? Rolled out
Yeah,
all
okay.
my duties. And it was much more peaceful. It was a really smooth like intro into it.
That's good.
But yeah, and all credit goes to God, right? Like
Yeah.
I specifically was praying for it because I know how I am. Like I can start to implode, and then I start to isolate, and then anyways, it's a whole ordeal. But anyways,
I get that. I
prayer,
get that.
the power of prayer.
And the power of prayer is very real. That's for sure. It's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm feeling that like overwhelming, that like just everything. You know me. I'm very structured, and I'm a planner, and you know it's actually been, God, what, probably 10 years or so since I've had a manager. You know, and I'm about to start in a new career where I have a manager, and I'm like, oh, like this is gonna be. I mean, I think it's gonna be really good. I've just honestly, like, my brain needs a break. It needs a break from having to like really think methodically about everything. It just needs to be like, tell me what to do and I'll do it, you know? And so that part's gonna be really cool. But it's still just kind of like, oh man, like I also like to be like good at everything I do. And now I'm like, oh my God, like I got to figure her out, and I got to make sure that like she likes me, and I got to make sure like I need it.
Oh, you're a wreck.
I am.
So,
I am. That's the thing is like, I
I
think
thought
about,
my mind was bad.
and yet, no, my mind goes everywhere. I'm like, I'm going to be working with this person, this person, this person, and I'm going to be going back into the construction world and going back into all my networking and associations and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, you know, like I'm just literally like,
Yeah,
that's
they're gonna
what,
have to subtitle that part.
yeah.
That was all one word, really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Get that subtitle going. He's working on it. Anyway,
AI
oh,
is really good about
what
it
we're
too.
trying to show is a prime example of, you know, how quickly you can start
To spiral.
spiraling. And that's what rock bottom hope is all about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it's
How so? Explain it to me.
It's when you start to feel or see spiraling in your behaviors. We have a phone number that you can call.
And what's that phone number?
It is what?
1-800-423-HOPE.
That's exactly what it is. I'm glad.
Were you testing me?
Yeah.
Is that a test?
Yeah, I was just testing to see if I could get out of that answer.
You did that with grace.
But no, honestly, just wrapping all this up, we are a hope line for anybody that is struggling. We obviously we joke during this podcast, and we not all the time. We sometimes we're more serious, but even through the joking, we'll take you serious on the call line.
We thank y'all for y'all's grace too.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a podcast that we are still trying to navigate through, and I feel like every time it gets a little bit better. But I mean, the ultimate goal of this podcast is to bring hope to the furthest heart and remind everyone else that you're not alone. You know, there's purpose in rock bottom. There are people here that are ready to walk alongside of you. You don't have to do it alone. You can go on the website. There's a connect form if that's easier for you. If you don't like talking on the phone, you can even text the phone number. There is actually a texting. So again, you reach out that way. But yeah, ultimately we're here. We're here to listen, whether you are someone at rock bottom, experiencing that rock bottom, or you have a family member that is at rock bottom. You know, we're here. We have all of us have literally walked at a rock bottom or walked alongside of someone. We understand it. We know what that feels like, and it is overwhelming and can feel completely discouraging, but you are not alone. And we're so ready to meet you where you're at. So give us a call. Yeah.
Oh, you should have said the number right there. That was perfect.
877-423.
We're going to turn it into a song.
877-423.
Not now. We got to work on it. No.
877-423-HOPE. You know what's the sad part is I don't know what hope is on the phone numbers.
That was the greatest.
Y'all are welcome for the entertainment.
Yeah.
I'll be here all day.
Oh, man.
And that's a wrap.